Times have been tough at Saltergate in recent years, but Roy McFarlane brought the players back for pre-season, confident that Chesterfield could make more of an impact in League One this season. There were some big dates ahead and plenty of derby matches to look forward to. Let's see how they've gone on, the Spireites, over the entire season 2004-05.
After surviving a relegation scare on the very last day of the previous season, thanks to a 1-0 win over Luton Town, Chesterfield were hoping for an easier passage this time round, and they got off to a good start. Wayne Allison pounced to give them the first half lead after the move had been started by Derek Niven. Caleb Folan made it 2-0 when he headed home from close range midway through the second half, after some superb play down the right by Mark Allott, who squeezed past two Brentford defenders. Alex Rhodes scored with a low drive on 69 minutes to give the visitors some hope of a rescue act. Mark Allott created Chesterfield's third goal when he exposed the Brentford defence yet again before feeding substitute Chaman Toya, who cut inside and fired home from the edge of the area. At the Golf Farm Stadium, Caleb Folan almost gave Chesterfield a lead, but after slipping the attentions of Town defender Effie Sodji, he dragged his final effort wide of the upright. Chaman Toya fed Mark Allott, who, just 7 minutes from the end, put the ball in the Town net after his first effort had been blocked. Sadly, the goal was ruled out, with the referee spotting a handball in the process. In the dying minutes of the match, Huddersfield almost snatched all 3 points, but Chesterfield keeper Carl Muggleton kept the visitors intact with a superb double save, firstly from Pavel Abbott's shot and then from the follow-up by Lee Fowler. At Prenton Park, Chesterfield were undone by the experience of Jason McAteer and Paul Hall. The Tranmere midfielders scythed open the Spireites' defence with a series of neat 1-2s, and Hall's cross was headed home powerfully by Eugene Daddy at the far post. The nearest the visitors got to an equaliser was when Steve Blatherwick got on the end of a long throw from the right by Mark Allott, but his goal-bound header was tipped round the post by Rovers keeper John Acterbury. Two goals from Frenchman Chaman Toya gave Chesterfield their win bonus in this game. His first put the Spireites ahead after only 5 minutes, after Mark de Bolle robbed a rather static-looking Colchester defence. The visitors drew level when Gavin Johnson scored for Colchester a minute from the break, getting a foot in a goal-mouth scramble just when it seemed that Chesterfield might get the ball to safety. "11 minutes into the restart, and Toya scored what turned out to be the winner. Colchester failed to clear the Chesterfield corner, and when the ball was headed back across the face of the goal, Toya rifled an unstoppable shot into the bottom corner of the net. Plenty of excitement and derby atmosphere in the first round of the Carling Cup, and it all started right for Chesterfield when they took the lead in the first half. Shane Nicholson and Chaman Toya worked a long throw on the left, and when the ball swung over, Mark Allott got on the end of it to rattle the ball beyond the diving Mike Pollitt. Gradually, Rotherham clawed their way back into the match and drew level when Mark Proctor rose to head home a free kick. In the second half, Chesterfield were made to pay for backing off Richie Barker, who cut inside before beating Carl Muggleton with a low shot into the bottom corner of the net. Valley Parade on Bank Holiday Monday, and the crowd witnessed an amazing fight back by Chesterfield as they overturned a 2-0 deficit to run out 3-2 winners. Dean Windus put the Bantams into the lead direct from a free kick. In the second half, the same player doubled Bradford's lead when he latched onto a neat back heel before coolly slotting the ball past the advancing Carl Muggleton. City were seemingly on course for maximum points, but then a lifeline for Chesterfield when Shane Nicholson rifled home a penalty on 78 minutes, and suddenly the Spyrites sensed that the game was there for the taking. Campbell Rice and Nicholson worked a 1-2 down the left, and when the ball swung over to the right, Ian Everett's shot was steered home by Caleb Foley. Some wizardry by Campbell Rice almost brought Chesterfield the winner, his cross teasing the Bantams' defence, only to see Wayne Allison's header come back off the woodwork. It all came good in the last 3 minutes when City keeper Henderson could only palm away another cross by Campbell Rice, and Foley followed up to score the winner. Port Vale were the next visitors to Saltergate, and a single goal just 8 minutes into the restart was enough to give the Spyrites all 3 points. Chaman Toya rose to head Jamel Campbell-Rice's corner powerfully into the visitors' net. An impressive start by Chesterfield, finishing the month at just 8 points behind league leaders Luton Town. The visit of MK Dons was expected to give Chesterfield a chance for their third victory in 8 days. And Toya gave the Spyrites a 31st minute lead with a goal that had Route 1 written all over it. Carl Muggleton's long kick was touched on by Wayne Allison, and Toya scored to put the Spyrites into the lead. Aaron Downs doubled the advantage, heading home Shane Nicholson's corner, and the writing looked on the wall for the visitors. Sadly, Chesterfield took their foot off the gas, and Isley McLeod pulled one back for the Dons on 64 minutes in a move that saw him follow up after Ben Chorley's shot had been blocked on the line. With time running out, McLeod and Lauren Herve combined to leave Wade Small with a simple header to level the scores and leave Chesterfield ruining missed chances. A trip to take on the league leaders in their own back garden is always a daunting task. In fairness, Chesterfield offered little creativity down at Kenilworth Road against Luton Town. The home side might well have taken the lead in the first half when Rowan Vine powered his way through the visitors' defence, only for his effort on goal to come back off the woodwork. It was the same player, however, who scored the only goal of the game after the break, although the jury is still out on whether there was some over-vigorous play in the build-up to the shot that eventually beat Carl Muggleton. To add insult to injury, Chesterfield finished the day with only 9 men, as Steve Blatherwick and Shane Nicholson were both shown red cards. Paul Merson brought his Walsall team to Saltergate, but they were soon on the defensive as Campbell Rice brought a fine save from Mark Paston after cutting across the face of the goal from the left. It was only fitting that Campbell Rice should play a part in the only goal of the game. He took a pass from Aaron Downs, saw his shot on goal parried by Paston, but Mark Allott squared the ball back across the face of the goal for Mark Hudson to apply the finishing touch. The Spyrites had high hopes of some reward from their trip up the M1 to take on Paul Hart's Barnsley. It was a full-blooded local derby that saw Chesterfield almost take the lead when Jamal Campbell-Rice beat the Barnsley off sidetrack to bring a fine save from the Tykes keeper Nick Colden. Mark Innes was sent off for a foul on Michael Chopra and it looked like ending goalless. But then with just 3 minutes left on the clock, Barnsley struck. Anthony Kay played a neat 1-2 with Barry Conlon before surging into the box and striking the ball beyond the despairing dive of Muggleton. Nicely placed for the Blues in 5th spot and only 2 points off 2nd place, but still well adrift of runaway leaders Luton Town. Bristol City had been tipped by many to be frontrunners in the division, but it was Chesterfield who went ahead on 33 minutes. Not much doubt about the penalty, duly dispatched by Shane Nicholson to give the Spyrites the lead. Whatever City boss Brian Tinian said to his players during the break seemed to work, as the visitors quickly turned the game round. Scott Murray got the equaliser with a fine solo effort after cutting in from the right. Defender Danny Cole stumped the ball home following the corner to put City in front. It was left to Alex Bailey to score his first senior goal for Chesterfield, not dissimilar to that of Bristol's Scott Murray, and it rescued a point just when defeat was staring the home side in the face. Chesterfield came within a whisker of opening the scoring at Hull. Shane Nicholson's long throw was touched on by Steve Blatherwick and then by Wayne Allison, and when Ian Everett's goal-bound effort looked like giving the Spyrites the lead, City keeper Boaz Myhill came to the rescue. Chesterfield went in search of the opening goal, and again it was the long throw that caused trouble, but when Mark Stallard nudged the ball over the line, the referee had spotted an infringement, and Chesterfield's delight turned to despair. It was even worse when the Tigers scored what turned out to be the winner, Stuart Green picking up a pass on the edge of the area to ram the ball home past Muggleton. This game turned out to be the Anthony Sweeney show. Joel Porter squeezed past Steve Blatherwick and Shane Nicholson to create the first for Sweeney after only 3 minutes. The same player doubled the margin only 5 minutes later after some strong creative play down the left by Effian Williams. Chesterfield got back into the match before the break when pool keeper Jim Provett brought down Wayne Allison. And Shane Nicholson slotted home from the penalty spot. Mark Stallard equalised 5 minutes into the restart, and the travelling fans were really hopeful of some reward. Unfortunately, that man Sweeney popped up with a late winner to give the home side maximum points. Stockport County had struggled for much of the season, and the Spyrites took full advantage of their opponent's plight. The long throw routine unsettled the visitors for the first goal. Wayne Allison headed the ball across the face of the goal, and Sammy Clingan scored the opener. In the swirling mist, Chairman Toyers soon doubled Chesterfield's lead, his looping header following a touchline free kick, completely deceiving county keeper Neil Cutler. Steve Blatherwick deflected in Ian Everett's effort for goal number 3 just after the break. Mark Allott completed a totally satisfying game for Chesterfield, and he latched onto a poor clearance to send the ball into the bottom corner of the visitors' net. Against local rivals Doncaster Rovers, Mark Stallard got on the end of Ian Everett's cross in an early Chesterfield attack, but Rovers keeper Andy Warrington was equal to it. The same pairing were quickly on a repeat that saw Neil Roberts head Stallard's header off the line. Chamontoya tried his luck with an overhead kick from the edge of the box that whistled just over the Rovers crossbar. After the break, the Spyrites almost broke the deadlock when Rovers defender Dave Mulligan went within a whisker of heading an own goal, but keeper Warrington prevented it from crossing the line. In the local derby at Hillsborough, Adam Proudlock gave the Owls the early lead with a shot that somehow sneaked beyond Muggleton. Steve Blatherwick then got on the end of Shane Nicholson's free kick to plant a header into the top corner of the Owls' net. Wednesday went back in front with a goal of real controversy. Steve McLean started the move and got on the end of JP McGovern's pass to head the ball goalwards. It appeared to hit the back of Alex Bailey, but for some strange reason the referee saw it as handball. And top scorer Steve McLean quickly restored the Owls' advantage from the penalty spot. To Chesterfield's credit, they battled back in the second half and deservedly drew level when Sammy Clingan picked up the ball following a goal-mouthed scramble and hit a scorcher into the top corner of the net. In the closing stages, Chesterfield might well have snatched all 3 points when Jamal Campbell-Rice fed Wayne Allison, but his header skimmed the top of the Wednesday crossbar. Still handily placed in the top half of the table, although October hasn't been the best of months for the Spyrites. Against Blackpool, a Shane Dickelson corner created the best chance in the first half. Steve Blatherwick headed towards goal and Wayne Allison lashed the loose ball against the crossbar. In the second half, despite long periods on the attack, it looked as though Blackpool would sneak a point. But then in the very last minute, Wayne Allison's assist fell into the path of Caleb Folan, who'd only been on the pitch 10 minutes, and Folan forced the ball over the line to give the Spyrites all 3 points. At Glanford Park, Chesterfield took a quick FA Cup exit, conceding a goal in each half. Paul Hayes opened the scoring in the first half, reacting to a loose ball and shooting powerfully past Carl Muggleton. Chesterfield's woe was compounded in the second half when Ian Barraclough got on the end of a swift crossfield move to chip a superb effort beyond the diving Muggleton. With Bournemouth having an impressive start to the season and looking a strong bet for at least a playoff spot, Chesterfield can't have relished their long trip to the south coast. Having said that, they might well have taken all 3 points had it not been for the Bournemouth woodwork. Andy Richmond deputised for Carl Muggleton in goal, and the Spyrites were more than content with the point they brought back from the Fitness First Stadium. Swindon Town's visit to Saltergate was another low-scoring affair, and it might have gone sour when Chesterfield allowed Swindon's David Duke to burst through unchallenged. Thankfully, the woodwork came to the Spyrites' rescue. The only goal came midway through the second half. Mark Allott fed Sammy Clingan, whose cross was headed home powerfully by Wayne Allison from close range. Undefeated in league games during the month and a steady rise in league table placing for the Blues. Those Chesterfield supporters who made the trip to Boundary Park for this Tuesday night game might well have wondered if it was all worthwhile. Kevin Betsy fed Chris Killeen, who toe-poked the first goal home. Killeen doubled the Latic advantage when he was bundled down by Steve Blatherwick and scored from the resulting penalty. After the break, Killeen became the provider when he supplied the assist for Betsy to score goal number 3. Kilkenny added a further goal as the home side were running rampant. Caleb Folan stabbed the ball home following Shane Nicholson's long throw, although late in the game this was nothing more than consolation. Aaron Downs got on the end of a save from posh keeper Mark Tyler to put Chesterfield into the lead at London Road. And in the second half, Downs turned provider when he set up Ian Everett to slide the ball in for number 2. Peterborough dragged themselves back into the match when former Sheffield United man Curtis Woodhouse scored with a powerful header. But Chesterfield hung on for 3 valuable points. Promoted Torquay United hadn't had the best of seasons when these two met just before Christmas, but they shocked the home supporters at Saltergate when they took the lead through Jamie Goslin after the first effort and goal had been blocked. The Spyrites almost equalised when Ian Everett's header was palmed away at close range by Olafur Gotskalson in the Torquay goal. But the Icelandic keeper was eventually beaten when Wayne Allison's header dragged the home side back to level. Boxing Day saw the return fixture with league leaders Luton Town. In a fast-flowing game, Luton almost took the lead, but Muggleton made a fine reflex save from Enoch Shawumli. The same player did, however, have the last word when he converted Peter Holmes' wayward shot and steered a header past Muggleton for the only goal of the game 3 minutes from time. There was little Christmas cheer just 2 days later when Chesterfield went down 3-1 at Wrexham. Darren Ferguson was the architect behind the first goal, and when the cross from the left came back across the face of the goal, Steve Roberts headed home from close range. Mark Jones doubled Wrexham advantage when he scored with a terrific shot from 20 yards. Chesterfield showed some signs of bursting into life when Shane Nicholson's long throw was nudged into the path of Mark Stallard, who scored from close range. Chesterfield's misery was complete when they failed to clear a corner from the left, and Chris Llewellyn made the point safe for Wrexham with a third goal midway through the second half. Still in mid-table, but with only 1 win in December, the season desperately needs a kickstart. New Year's Day failed to bring the Spyrites a much-needed victory. They went down to the National Hockey Stadium and fell behind after only 5 minutes. Wade Small burst through a rather static-looking Chesterfield defence and was brought down by Spyrites keeper Carl Muggleton. Alan Smart scored from the spot for the Dons. The equaliser came when Ian Evatt reacted quickly to some slack marking in the home defence to rifle the ball beyond the diving Scott Bevan and rescue a point for Roy McFarlane's men. Having lost 1-0 at Oakwell back in September, Chesterfield were understandably keen to turn the tables in the return fixture. Barnsley, however, hadn't led the same script, and Michael Baldwin skipped past Aaron Downs to coolly slot the Tykes into an early lead. Baldwin then got on the end of a Tom Williams cross to slide the ball beyond Muggleton, and the writing looked on the wall for the home side. But it turned out to be a game of two halves. After the break, Caleb Folan got on the end of a deflection off Anthony Kay to pull 1 goal back. And the recovery was complete when Shane Nicholson fired the equaliser direct from a free kick beyond the Tykes keeper Ross Turnbull with just 2 minutes remaining. This trip to the Bescot proved to be another fruitless journey for Roy McFarlane's team. They were a goal behind when Darren Rack fired home from the edge of the box after Chesterfield had failed to clear a right-sided corner. They were 2 down when George Leitao was allowed a clear header from Paul Merson's intelligent free kick. Derek Niven and Mark Allott contrived to provide Mark de Bolle with a goal for the Spyrites. Walsall eventually put the game totally beyond the Spyrites when Matt Fryatt added a third in the very last minute following a surging run down the right by Sadler's boss Merson. What an amazing game this turned out to be, with no early hint of the way the match would eventually unfold. Ian Evatt headed the home side in front following a free kick. But then Spaniard Juan Ugarte took over complete control. His first goal was a looping header over Carl Muggleton. Before the break, he had put the visitors in front when he latched onto a headed clearance to shoot powerfully past the Chesterfield keeper. He completed his hat-trick after the break. And Ugarte scored Wrexham's 4th of the game following some neat interplay from midfield. Some semblance of respectability was restored when the referee spotted a handball. And Ian Evatt dispatched the penalty for the home side, but there was little doubt on the day that this game belonged to Juan Ugarte of Wrexham.
Mickey Bell now Sending it out towards Goodfellow. Here's Mark Allott for Caleb Folan. Now he's got Allison in the middle. Early promise for Chesterfield. Folan's cross, and it's a goal! What a start! Mark Hudson arriving in the box, and Chesterfield may have a terrible record at Ashton Gate, but they're ahead in the very first minute. 41 seconds.
Incredible stuff, isn't it? Folan makes a great run down the line, and I thought he could have released the ball a little bit earlier, because Allison's in here. Release it in, and he's in on a run. He delays it, I think the chance is gone. But no, there he is, arriving late. And it's a perfect goal, isn't it, from Hudson? He just runs it into the net, just gets it on the half volley, I think. No, catches it on the volley, steered into the corner of the net, and it's a great goal. What a start. They couldn't have dreamed of anything better, could they, Chesterfield? The perfect start.
Mark Hudson sorting his two-man wall out. Smith and Murray in that wall. Nicholson in towards Wayne Allison, and they've only scored again. Wayne Allison against his former club, and Chesterfield are 2-0 up in the first quarter of an hour at Ashton Gate.
2 attempts a goal, 2 goals. Good whipped in cross from Nicholson. Allison uses his body strength. Look, I think it's Coles he gets across. He really uses his body strength. He doesn't have to jump. Just slightly gets off the floor, but he's holding Coles off all the way. Look, holding each other, but he's the stronger of the two. Gets across his marker. I think it may have slightly got a deflection off of Coles as well.
Scott Murray for the gaffer, Ryan Tinian. Now onside, Brooker. Steve Brooker, surely! He has taken that opportunity. A fine finish from Brooker, and Bristol City are right back in it. They might not be finished tonight yet. Murray. It's Goodfellow, and Smith arriving. Jamie Smith with an excellent equaliser from 2-0 down to 2-2, just like that. Allen's throw, not particularly cleared by Bell, and Hudson, oh, it's gone in! It's squirmed away from Steve Phillips, and Mark Hudson, who started the scoring in the first minute, has he ended the scoring tonight? Chesterfield are back in front.
Oh, it's a horrible mistake by Phillips. He's anticipating a well-hit shot. In the first place, it's a bad clearance by Bell. Ball comes in, they don't really clear it. Look, his right foot, that's a poor clearance. That's got to have height on it. He hits it into the ground. I think that's what deceives the goalkeeper. There's the poor clearance by Bell. Hudson hits it into the ground. Doesn't look like any deflection. Has a kind of top spin on the ball as he hits it into the ground, as you see here. It pitches just in front of Phillips, but really he's down too early. He makes an awful mess of it.
Sadly, Chesterfield had slipped into the bottom half of the table, and dreams of a possible promotion were suddenly fading away. Caleb Folan went close for the home side before Chesterfield had the ball in the Tigers' net when Mark Allott forced it over the line, but the referee had spotted a handball in the process. All of the goals in this game came in the last 10 minutes. Poor defending by the Spirates from a Hull corner allowed Junior Lewis to hook the ball home from close range. The Chesterfield scraped a point thanks to a bizarre own goal by City keeper Boaz Myhill, who palmed Shane Nicholson's corner into his own net. The only goal of this game came just 10 minutes after the break, Richie Humphries fed Adam Boyd, who wormed his way goalwards, and though his first effort took a deflection, he pounced on the rebound to send a low shot beyond Muggleton's outstretched hand. The best from Chesterfield came when Alex Bailey found Mark Allott, whose cross was headed powerfully by Wayne Allison, but the combination of the upright and Hartlepool's Greek keeper Dimitrios Konstantopoulos somehow kept the ball from sneaking in at the corner. A windswept game at Bellevue almost saw Chesterfield take a bizarre first half lead. Shane Nicholson's long throw appeared to beat almost everybody, and in the end it flashed agonisingly wide of Andy Warrington's right-hand upright. Just when it looked like ending a stalemate, Shane Nicholson's free kick caused havoc in the Rovers' defence, and Chaman Toya ran across the face of the goal before beating Andy Warrington with a low shot from an acute angle. Sheffield Wednesday's first goal exposed the weakness in Chesterfield's defence. Lee Bullen crossed from the right. Lee Peacock was allowed 2 bites of the cherry before Steve McLean tapped the ball home from close range. The former Rangers striker doubled Wednesday's advantage when he headed home from JP McGovern's cross following another corner. It was another cross by McGovern that provided the chance that was headed home powerfully by Lee Peacock to put the Owls 3 up. Chesterfield's only consolation was a close-range goal from Mark de Bolle. But on the day, Paul Sturrock's side was simply too powerful.
Goodwin with the header. It's away by Hurst. Feeney's on the chase. Oh, he's going to fall to him as well. Feeney! Yes, he scored! Right on the stroke of half-time. A horrible mess-up in the Chesterfield defence. Warren Feeney pounces on it and sticks it in the back of the net. And right on half-time, County go 1 up. Well, the coffee's going to taste a lot sweeter now. Play on, says the referee. No foul on Goodwin. Ball so short, but Hardiker's managed to hold up the advancing Chesterfield attacker, but that's a good ball through. Chance here. Goal. Mark de Bolle. Chesterfield have pulled it back. And de Bolle has made it 1-1. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. Mark Allott. You've got to say, that deserves to win any game.
Relegation threatened Peterborough United took a shot lead when Wayne Purser latched on to a through ball from Simon Ireland and fed Richard Logan, who fired home. Later, and Posh doubled the advantage. Chesterfield failed to deal with a free kick, and Purser simply tapped the ball over the line. Mark Innes' free kick created the opportunity for Gareth Davis to haul Chesterfield back in the game. But it all turned sour after the break when Purser got round Steve Blatherwick and put the game beyond the Spyrites with Peterborough's third of the afternoon. A mixed month fortune-wise, but still requiring that spark to keep the supporters happy.
Back for Woodman. Now McGlinchey. Inside for Alex Russell. Abbey. Where to find Tony Beddoe. Referee saying play on. Torquay have the advantage. Moved in towards Akinfenwa! A good advantage, I think you've got to say, played by referee Joe Ross then. Davis forward for Debola. Nicholson. Hudson in a bit of space, looking to pull it back. He's pulling it back behind everyone. Derek Niven coming in with a shot. Oh, what a finish from Derek Niven! Well, that was absolutely unstoppable. Beddoe. Into trouble. Hudson with the shot. Oh, turned in. Alex Russell with the corner. Oh, Cannaville with the header. Well, I'm not sure whether it was Lee Cannaville or Martin Phillips. Phillips is pointing to his chest. He's claiming the goal. Either way, Torquay have got the equaliser.
Two penalties gave Chesterfield all 3 points in this game. Tom Clark was sent off for conceding the foul on Jamie McMaster, from which Shane Nicholson gave the Spyrites the lead with the first spot kick. Nicholson doubled the home side advantage when he scored a second penalty. Huddersfield pulled the goal back on 79 minutes when David Murphy got on the end of Nathan Clark's long free kick to head the ball past Chesterfield's debutant keeper Martin Follop. The Spyrites held on, and to complete Town's miserable afternoon, defender Effie Soji was also given his marching orders. Mark Debola got on the end of a defence-splitting pass to put Chesterfield 1-up in the first half. Wayne Allison rose majestically to power home number 2, and everything looked on course for another away win. Sadly, Brentford pulled the goal back almost immediately when Dion Burton scored. It was all square in the end when Jay Tabb rifled in a shot after the defensive wall had blocked the initial free kick. Chesterfield led through Steve Blatherwick when the defender headed Jamie McMaster's free kick down and beyond the keeper. Tranmere's equaliser was almost a carbon copy when Michael Jackson headed Ryan Taylor's free kick past Carl Muggleton. Tranmere took the lead when Eugene Daddy played a 1-2 with Paul Hall and scored with a low shot into the corner of the net. Chesterfield's equaliser came via Route 1 football. Carl Muggleton thumped a long ball upfield. Jamie McMaster's initial effort was blocked, but Carlos Logan followed up to ram the ball home and leave both teams with a point each. Chesterfield might well have taken the lead down at Layer Road. Steve Blatherwick headed on Shane Nicholson's long throw, but Ian Everett didn't make a firm contact with the ball right in front of goal, and the chance was lost. And it was a chance that Chesterfield were left to regret when the home side scored the only goal of the match with just 15 minutes remaining. Marine O'Keefe on hand to thump the ball home from within the 6-yard box. Little movement in league placings, although safety seems to be assured with reaching the magical figure of 50 points. Nil-nil says a lot about this game in which defences were on top for long periods, although the nearest to a goal came after another Shane Nicholson long throw had caused some panic for the Bantams. At Vale Park, Jamie McMaster looked lively for the Spy Rights early on and forced a fine save from Vale keeper Mark Goodlad. After the break, the home side got on top and Lee Matthews found the net with a classy header from a Michael Cummins cross to score the only goal of the game. Shane Nicholson's corner was not cleared properly by the Bournemouth defence and Wayne Allison headed Chesterfield in front. It was a lead they held on to until after the break. Bournemouth equalised when Steve Fletcher scored after his original header had struck the post. The visitors went in front when Brian Stock's free kick curled superbly into the top corner of the net. Steve Blatherwick's header from Shane Nicholson's corner brought Chesterfield level. But Fletcher pounced in the very last minute, heading home from the edge of the 6-yard box to give the visitors all 3 points. Blackpool scored the only goal of this game after 18 minutes when Keith Southern's cross into the middle wasn't cleared with any conviction and Simon Grayson picked up a loose clearance just outside the area to drive home past Martin Fullock. Chesterfield's best effort came when Ian Evert's header from a Shane Nicholson free kick was palmed away for a corner. This was a game that arguably did Oldham more damage than it did good for Chesterfield. The match was settled by Ian Evert's goal on 69 minutes, and it meant that Oldham had to sweat out the final week of the season. And so to the last game of the season and a trip down to the county ground to play Swindon Town. The home side went in front when Jamie Slabber's cross was headed home by Sam Parkin for his 23rd goal of the season. Eight minutes later, parity was restored when Shane Nicholson's long throw caused panic in the opponent's defence. Steve Blatherwick touched the ball on and Chaman Toya picked up the scraps to blast home the equaliser. In the final analysis, perhaps some disappointment for Roy McFarlane's team. They were riding high at the beginning of the season, but it was a pace that sadly they didn't sustain, and rather worryingly they finished the campaign in 17th place and just 6 points above relegated Torquay United.